I just learned something I did not know about voting by mail, and it's really, really important. I want to tell you what it is and how you can sort of make sure it doesn't happen to you. I learned about it from a woman who does a lot of volunteer work in voter protection. She told me she wanted to meet with me to tell me about something about vote by mail that was disenfranchising a lot of people. So I met with her, and here's what I found out. So she was like, I'm sure you can imagine there's just a colossal number of vote by mail ballots every year that are undeliverable. I was like, all right. And she was like, a lot of those are because people have moved out of state. But she said there are a lot of them that are for people who thought that if they filled out a forwarding form at the post office, their ballot would be forwarded to them. But guess what? In almost all states, the post office will not forward a vote-by-mail ballot. They will simply return it to the Secretary of State, who will not notify the voter because they don't have the time. So again, in most states, the United States Postal Service will not forward your vote-by-mail ballot, even if you think that it's going to be forwarded because all your other mail is being forwarded. They will send it back to the Bureau of Elections where it will be destroyed. But there's even more. So let's say you are traveling for a month or 2 months or 3 months and you fill out a temporary change of address form with the post office. Guess what happens to your voter registration in most states? Well, most states subscribe to something called the NCOA, the National Change of Address System. So when you fill out that form, even if you're not moving, even if you're going to be back in a few months, you will very likely be made inactive in your voter registration file. And that'll mean, ironically, that you can only vote in person, and in some states you may fall off the rolls completely eventually. So first thing to know is that if you're going to go stay somewhere for 2 months and that's happening during election time, don't assume your ballot will be forwarded to you. It will not. If you are going to be doing something like that, you need to call your Bureau of Elections or your state elections office and tell them where to send the ballot over the phone. And also, if you've had your mail forwarded anytime in the last 2 to 3 years, go check your voter registration and make sure that you are active and not inactive. There are lots of ways you can check your voter registration, but I like a service that ResistBot offers because you can send the word check to ResistBot at 50409 or however you reach them, and it will not only check your voter registration, make sure it's active, but it will continue to do that every month and let you know if something changes. If you'd rather handle everything over the phone, you can also text the word local to ResistBot and they will send you the address and phone number of your local elections office. You can also just Google your local elections office and do the whole thing that way. The important thing is that we all check our voter registration and make sure it is active, and tell your friends and family about this little vote by mail detail they may not know.